Hey everybody, my name is Jason Gilmore and I am founder of a pretty cool tool called SecurityBot, which is available at SecurityBot.dev. And SecurityBot is an all-in-one monitoring tool for your websites and web applications. It can monitor your security, your uptime, your performance, and SEO, all kind of rolled up into one. But in this video, I actually don't want to talk about SecurityBot at all, and instead I want to show you how I use hotkeys, or key bindings as they're also known in Cursor and VS Code, to very efficiently navigate the various features of Cursor. So as you can see in the Cursor view that we're looking at right now, this is typically how I run Cursor. It's in 3-panel mode. On the left, I have the File Explorer. And then in the middle, of course, I have the coding editor. And then on the right, I have the Cursor chat window. It's very often the case, though, that I really don't need to see what's going on in the File Explorer, right? It's useful sometimes, sure. But most of the time, I'm spending inside the coding editor and, of course, talking to the Cursor LLM, right, the AI. So what I'll do is I will hit Command B, and you should see the keystroke combination at the bottom left of the window. I'll hit Command B to toggle the File Explorer open and closed. So if I hit Command B again, it opens back up. If I hit Command B one final time, you'll see that it closes. That keyboard shortcut or hotkey is defined in Cursor and, of course, VS Code, since Cursor is based off VS Code by default. So you open any new installation of either editor, and that's going to be made available to you. Another great one is Command-Shift-E, and what that's going to do is that's going to move the focus of the cursor, the cursor as in where you type, as opposed to the cursor IDE. It's going to move the focus to that window. So I'll hit Command-B to open up the File Explorer again, and then I'm going to hit Command-Shift-E. And as you can see, I'm hitting the up arrow, and that has given me the ability to navigate the File Explorer, right? And if I hit Command-Shift-E again, then the focus is transferred back to the coding editor. So sometimes I'll go over to the File Explorer just to have a look around. Maybe I just want to see what files are inside this profile directory, for example. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll move the focus over and have a look. However, sometimes, depending on how deeply nested your repository is, you actually can't see all of the files because we have maybe a folder, then some files, another folder. Inside that folder, there are other files, and so forth. So I've defined a custom hotkey, which gives me the ability to expand the width of the whatever window we're currently focused in, which in this case is the File Explorer. And you can see if I hit Command-Shift right arrow, that File Explorer window gets wider. If I hit Command-Shift left arrow, it gets smaller. So this is not a default hotkey built into Cursor. So let me go ahead and show you how that is built. I'm going to hit Command-Shift-E to transfer focus back to my coding editor. And then I'm going to hit Command-Shift-P, and that's going to open up the universal File Explorer command executor. I'm not quite sure what this is called inside Cursor. And then I'm going to type JSON until I see this option, Open Keyboard Shortcuts. And I'll hit Enter. And you can see this is a JSON file, and it has a number of custom key bindings that I've defined. And here at the bottom, you can see that I've defined Shift Command arrow right and Shift Command arrow left. And when one of those keystroke combinations is pressed, a command is going to run, and that command is defined in the command key. So when arrow right, command shift arrow right is pushed, workbench.action.increase view size is executed. And then when shift command arrow left is pressed, then workbench.action.decrease view size is run, that command. So all you have to do is add those two definitions to your keybindings.json file, save it, make sure, of course, you have a comma where a comma is supposed to go so you don't have a invalid JSON syntax. I'll go ahead and press Command W to close that file. And again, I'll shift over to my Explorer. I'll hit Command Shift right arrow, Command Shift left arrow, and I can increase and decrease the width of that window. Now, by the way, if I move back to the coding editor and I hit Command Shift arrow again, you'll see that sure enough, we can also increase and decrease the width of that window because this isn't specific to the File Explorer, right? So very, very useful way to just add some custom hotkeys is through that keybindings.json file, and it gives you the ability just to move around faster without having to touch the mouse and lose a couple seconds when you do. So I have one final keyboard trick that I wanted to show you. This is one that I use certainly dozens of times every day, and that involves toggling between the terminal window and the coding editor, right? So all operating systems, whether it's Windows or Linux or Mac OS, they offer a terminal application. Some are certainly better than others. And when you're building a modern web application, you're going to spend a lot of time both in your IDE and in that terminal window, right? Because you typically need to run various terminal commands to do things related to your web application. You might want to enter a database client that way. So no surprise, Cursor and pretty much every other modern IDE offers a built-in terminal option. And in Cursor, you can toggle that terminal with Command T. However, if you do that, you're going to see that that terminal only takes up about more or less a third of the bottom of the coding editor window. And most of the time, at least for me, that's just not enough space. So what I've done is I've defined Command Shift 2. And what Command Shift 2 does is it will toggle the between the full screen terminal window, or full height, I should say, and the full screen editor. So I can jump over to the terminal, I can have a look around, I can enter the database here, right? And when I'm done doing whatever I need to do and I want to go back to the code editor, I just hit Command Shift 2 again. So super, super useful hotkey combination. And again, I use it dozens of times every single day. So how do you add that? I'm going to go back to Command Shift P. I'm going to search for JSON. You can see it's already listed here at the top because I recently used it. I'll hit Enter, and then I'll show you here. These are where the two toggles are defined, right? Command Shift 2 is going to close the panel. This is kind of a tricky one, frankly, because of the ability to toggle back and forth between basically maximum height terminal and a closed terminal. What do I mean by that, by it being a little trickier, is that is a pretty straightforward key command definition, right? But check out what happens on this one. It's the same key combination, and then we have the command toggle maximized panel, but it's only going to run when the terminal is not in focus, right? So when the terminal is not there, we're going to maximize the terminal. When the terminal is there, we're going to close the terminal, right? So again, make sure your commas are in the right place so you have valid syntax. I'll go ahead and hit Command W to close that. And then one final time, I'll toggle between maximum height terminal window and maximum height coding editor window. So I hope you found this useful, and while I have your attention, please take a few moments to head over to SecurityBot.dev and check out this monitoring tool. As I mentioned, it bundles together a lot of monitoring features that you're typically going to find spread across multiple monitoring solutions. So what I wanted was a consolidated solution that brings everything together, allows me to run page speed insights audits, broken link audits, allows me to check out my DNS records very easily, allows me to do port scans on my sites to make sure things weren't mistakenly left open and so forth. So head on over there, take a look, let me know what you think about it, and you can start a 14-day trial today. Thanks for your time.